thrifting at an antique shop? Yes. So you can definitely, I feel as if you buy secondhand, you feel like you got a great price. These items today that I found for you all, I am making over into something else. They're, to me, I spy as project pieces. They're not complete pieces. They need a little bit of loving. So that's definitely thrifting. I know it's such a controversy of can't thrift at an antique store. Y'all, anywhere you get a project piece, anywhere you get a secondhand item, anywhere you feel like you got a great deal, I feel like you are thrifting. I know I just opened a can of worms there, but yes, so in today's projects, I got some great items, y'all. I showed you my car. I filled my car at an antique store with project pieces and a couple pieces to decorate my own home. I have this beautiful metal frame. It has been painted. There's no artwork in it, but it's a great project piece, and it was $8 in somebody's antique mall booth. So a metal frame. Oh, it's got a backing, so it slides out like taking off the backing. Looks like it's been flipped at one time or another. But yep, just a beautiful frame now. So I'm going to start off by wiping it down. I don't think, it doesn't appear to be too awful dirty, but just in case, we will get it wiped off. And you can see that the way that the frame is, I'm going to have to paint both sides because you'll see the back side from the front. To get my paint to stick better to metal, I'm going to do a couple coats of shellac, and that's going to act like a primer, something for the paint to grab onto. And honestly, you need to do at least 2 coats because 1 coat's not going to always cover. You don't want to put a big, thick, heavy coat that it runs. So just 2 light coats. It takes like 5 minutes in between coats for it to dry. And a little bit of shellac goes a long way. Mask on. So inside this frame, I have a smaller version of the SWAN. I ordered it when I ordered the bigger one that I did. The big one you were at is sold automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the frame up something to match. And I think I'm actually going to do black chippy on it to go with the darkness. I'm not looking for a crisp paint job on that frame, so I'm going to go with some Black Lantern by Sweet Pickins, which is a milk paint. So hopefully it's for some crackling and crazing, maybe showing some of that white through it to let it have some age. If you haven't used milk paint is a powder. So you do equal parts powder to equal parts water. Vented. So, and then you stir it for 2 minutes. I just use a plastic knife. You can use whatever you want to stir it. Make sure you're smushing it on the sides, getting any of the powdery clumps. Get it off the bottom. I don't find that whether I put the water in first or put the powder in first, it doesn't matter. The powder always sinks to the bottom. So you want to aerate it, get it all mixed into those yummies, and then sit it off the side for a few minutes to let it thicken up. Okay. The shellac is all dried. We're going to start off with the back. I'm going to re-stir all those yummies that might have settled. But definitely take that paint off the brush. because there's so much detail. You kind of have to do a dabbing motion on this. Okay, we are all painted up. Now I did the rim too. That just gives it more of a finished look. Okay, now I could flip it over. Get this first coat on the front area. I want to decoupage right onto the glass, the SWAN, but as you can see, it's got some paper and stuff like that. So I need to take some time and try to clean off these outer edges. I know we all wish that the papers would come rolled and we didn't have to deal with that. I don't know how else you'd have to ship it. But I want to see how to offset this. So when I'm doing this, I'm putting it on, I'm getting the most of the SWAN's image. I like to use the decoupage transfer gel to adhere my image. I've got my supplies. Got my water bottle, my rolled up saran wrap. I'm trying to match this up to the bottom. So I'm going to start right off in the, start right off in the middle. Try to work the air bubbles out. Okay, one side. It's always a hold your breath and pray when you're doing decoupage for some reason. I need my background for my decoupage paper to be white, and this is like a velvety material. It's got some hardware on it. If I flip it over, it's got this duct tape on it, and then you can tell that it needed an extra piece. It wasn't thick enough. So I'm just going to cut a new piece of cardboard for it. Luckily, I always seem to have boxes laying around. Okay. So we'll see. We just need this to be white. So if this covers, then I'll use this side. If not, then I can back it. I can back it with something. So I think it should probably cover. You're not really going to see it. You just need it, something white behind that decoupage paper to make it pop. And cardboard will work out just fine. I didn't have any poster board, any foam board. So we'll just use some painted cardboard. Look at the amazing crackle that did. That's what I was hoping for. Just to have some of that white peeking through to make it look like it was old. So we'll just seal this in with some weather defense. Okay, so we are dry. So I'm just going to take a little bit of just some sandpaper to just cut those edges. So I ended up having to take a little lip off the cardboard to get it to fit, so that outer layer, I'd already painted it, and cardboard is what cardboard is, thickness. So it's nice and tight in there, but now what do you do about a hanger? to hang it up. So unfortunately, the option is like too hot glue. Not my normal way of hanging, but I would be afraid that screws, I don't want to try to put screws and go into that glass. Found this at an antique store also. Okay, yep, just a new aged galvanized bucket. I've actually been looking for something similar to this to hang on my front porch door. I was looking for a basket, but I'm like, okay, I'll take what God will give me, and this galvanized basket will work. It was $9 at an antique store. I think this tin is great. It can stand up on its own. It has that nice handle. It has a whole bunch of space. It has some detail. Though we're just going to be painting the outer of it. I can see I need some lemon oil. There's been like a sticker there. That wasn't where the price tag was. They take the tags off at the antique store. So I need to get some lemon oil to get that off. Some people use Goo Gone or stuff like that. I just use lemon oil. Let it sit for a minute or so, or just work with it. Yeah, as soon as it touches it, it starts to destroy it. Now we're just going to wash it off with some Dawn dish soap and some hot water. Yep, my sticky residue is gone now. Same thing with this piece. It's metal. To get the paint to stick, I'm going to spray it with shellac. Let that completely dry. 2 coats. I mean, it's not super shiny to scuff sanding. I don't really want you to see the scuff marks for me sanding it. So that's what we're going to do. Now for the hanging one, I'm going to make my own little concoction using pantry door, basil, and in a pickle. So I'm just going to, I don't need terribly a lot, so I'm just going to try to do like half scoops. Oh yes, you can definitely play with paint and create your own. I love each one of these colors on their own, but I wanted to have some fun with them. So I'm going to do a full scoop of in the pickle. And then we're going to add, I should have 2 scoops in here. There. Okay, now I think I'm going to go ahead and not paint this little lip here since the handle matches. I just wanted this to be a nice green to go on my front porch because this is kind of for me or somewhere. I don't know. My door has a window, a very large oval window in it. So I don't get to put as much decor where I'd like to. And I know that first coat sometimes of milk paint does not look like it's going on, but it's grabbing onto the shellac that we sprayed, and then it will attract the second coat once it's dry. It's better to do thin coats, then you don't have to worry about all the drippies and runnies. And this is a nice edging brush. I link everything I use down in the description. So I'm actually going to stand it up so I can do it all at the same time. So while I'm waiting in between coats, I just stick a little Ziploc over the container, put my brush in another Ziploc. But remembering why the paint was just sitting to stir up the yummies off the bottom. Before moving on to my second coat. See how that first coat attracts that second coat. 2 coats probably won't be enough because I'm putting on really thin coats. So I always said that milk paint is unpredictable. I don't think I got any crackling or crazing anywhere on this, but I don't want to darken it, so I'm not doing brown or anything. I just want to keep that fun green. So all I'm going to do to seal it in for right now is just use some Homestead wax, which will richen the color up a little bit. Let my wax dry for about an hour, and since I'm going to be putting this outside, probably I'm going to seal it in with weather defense, even though it's going to be on the covered porch, just in case I do try to sell it later on and I find something else that I like better. You know how we are. I'm going to get it sealed in with a couple coats of weather defense metal spray. I needed to make a trip to Hobby Lobby because I didn't have any florals that I liked to fill this large of a container. Now, I know that I could put wording on it, I could put other things on it, but for me, I can imagine like when I want to, changing out for ribbon with the seasons. So I don't want to put anything like wording, welcome, home, anything like that on the front of it. I'm just going to let the florals speak for themselves, and then through the season, if I wanted to add ribbon, I think that would be perfect. So I am going to put some flower foam in the bottom of it because we do get wind. So I wanted big florals. I wanted white florals. I wanted something to pop because right now on my front porch I have ferns that are nice and green. Our house is white. The door is black, but it has this oval window. So I needed some big flowers. I want you to be able to see it. So the stems are probably way too long. So I'm going to have to cut them down. Cut them down. Whew, they do give you a lot of stem for your money. So luckily, Hobby Lobby, it was 40% off. That's the time. That's the time to buy. I really would like my bolt cutters, but my husband, or Chris, just helped our daughter do some hog fencing around her deck. Instead of railing, she did that. So our bolt cutters are still at her house. So this is what I have to use. This is just, I'll make it work. And it seems like it's more plastic than wire in there. Okay, so I'm going to torture y'all with having to watch me cut them. I thought it would be fun, just even though it's past the 4th of July, I have flags on my front porch or my front area. Why not stick a couple little flags in here? As I said, I mean, this, you could decorate this for the seasons. So I found this project piece at an antique mall. I don't know why there's such a big debate about thrifting at antique malls, but that's where people have to sell stuff. So it doesn't have any glass, anything in front of it, but it's a nice size cabinet. It definitely has that grandma cottage core going on, with a little detail. So I think I can make it super cute. But we're going to be painting the whole thing, and it's solid wood. $15. How much? Almost everything. Probably not the very back. Probably tape that off to save myself some. So I am going to do just a little stuff sanding. And I actually didn't take all the hardware off. I just unattached it from the door. Okay, got it all scuff sanded. It really sanded easily, so the little corner mouse sander is nice to get into those corners. So some Dawn dish soap, some hot water. So to protect my back area, I am going to probably paint this outer rim. I'm actually going to leave the hardware on. They're little screws. Somebody may want to hang it. Just in case my paint runs, because I'm going to have to flip this. So same thing, I'm going to do a couple coats of shellac, act as a primer to take on the paint, to attract the paint. We've got natural wood, some of the stain. Hopefully I got the top coat off. If I didn't, the shellac will help. For the cupboard, I'm going to be using the color Ocean, which is a beautiful, rich black, kind of keeping with that cottage core primitive vibe going on there. Got a lot of space to paint with that cupboard since I'm doing the inside. So I'll do 3 scoops to start off with. If I need to mix up more, I will, because it does thicken. And I noticed my last scoop wasn't quite full, so I didn't fill my water quite full. Starting with the back side of my door first so I can get those inner edges. Ooh, I really like ocean color. Not going to paint the hardware. I'm going to try not to paint the hardware. Just going to go around it really gingerly. Whew. Now I have a lot of space to cover. ready for the yumminess. Aging wax. I've already done a little bit of the inside. Oh. It is just going to bring Ocean alive. Oh, my goodness. I just can't get over what wax can do to a piece. So wax on, wax off. Just richens that right up. Oh, love it. So we have this piece of mesh brass. It's already aged. So Chris is going to help me, or Chris is going to probably attach it for me onto the back of this. So we needed to cut it wider. This little area is too small just to put a staple in. So he cut it wider, and now he's going to put some staples, but he's going to put some wood around it. And I think I'm just going to stain, not paint. So I don't want to wait for paint to dry, personally. So I'm just gonna stain them like it's an extra little detail. Just some Waverly antique and wax because the back is kind of goldy. I'm letting Chris do this part because he'll square up the edges, the corners, probably much better than I will. Use one of his tack hammers.
I gotta hold it.
Flatheads. Nope.
Nope.
Woohoo! So thank you so much for watching today's video, and what did you think? I know, let me know. Is thrifting at an antique store a thing or not? But I feel as it is, it's a personal preference, personal taste, and especially if I can find project pieces to make over for you all here in the channel, I'm going to keep on doing it. I love shopping anywhere. So again, thanks for watching today's video. Let me know which of the items I made over for you were your favorites. Did I give you any inspiration maybe to go antiquing and looking for project pieces? You just never know what you may find. So again, thanks for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're watching the end of the video and you're not part of the YouTube family, please smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.